What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are, Thursday morning, another green day of trading, finishing the day up $4,700. Life is good. It's about $40,000 of profit in the last 5 days trading, 1 hour a day. So today's one of those days, however, where I was up about 6,000, and then I gave back about $1,500 on my last 2 trades. So I don't feel like I'm finishing on top of the world. I feel like, I'm humbled a little bit. The market kind of gives you that little smack if you stay too long, and that's what happened today. But $4,700 is good. Green is good. Today's a day where I'm crossing over $650,000 in my account. I started with $583 18 months ago, crossing $650,000 today. That's a big day. I'm excited. Next up, $700K. All right, so I'm going to break down the trades from today. Hope you guys enjoy it. Any questions, any comments, leave them below. We'll come back and answer them later today. Okay, what's up, everyone? All right, so we're going to do our midday market recap, go over the trades from this morning. Here we are finishing the day, another green day, up $4,723.91. Life is good. I'm happy with that. I was up 6,000 earlier, and I gave back about $1,500 of profit. But you know what? $4,700 is a great day. Puts me up about $40,000 in the last week. Today, I put in the wire transfer request with, I'll put this up, with Lightspeed, and I'm taking out $40,000. Taking out the $40,000 of profit I just made in the last week, and I'm just gonna, take it out. I like to do that because I don't want to leave all my profits just growing and growing and growing in this account because, it feels real when you take it out and you see it land in your checking account. And it's like, there you go. That I can now use to pay my bills at the end of June and beginning of July, whatever. And it just kind of gives me that cushion. If I have extra money, I can go reinvest it in mutual funds, long-term stuff, whatever. But it just makes it real to take it out. So that means tomorrow my account will be around 70. Actually, it'd be at like 78,000 since I just made almost $5,000 today. So, whatever. It does mean that if a stock like, GBR or CEI, both of these are on margin restriction. And so what you see here is this little symbol that says 100%, 100%. That means I can only use my equity balance to buy these stocks. I can't use any of this buying power. I've got almost $500,000 in buying power, but I can't use any of it on these 2 stocks, or this one also, this third one. So that means on GBR, I can only take, well, see, this is the thing. It's at $2.50. So 10,000 shares is $25,000. So today I could have taken 40,000 shares. This is not holding me back at all to have, just 100,000. But tomorrow, when I have 70,000 in the account, it means a stock like this, that's up around $5 or $6. If it's at $7 and I take 10,000 shares, that's $70,000. So that's where I'm going to start to get a little bit restricted if we happen to see stocks in the $8 to $12 price range that are really volatile and that are on margin restriction. Then I might start to get a little restricted by not having as much cash in my account. But in any case, lately we've been seeing most of the momentum on cheap stocks like CEI. So with this one, I could have bought almost 100,000 shares of it today if I really wanted to. So that's just kind of the one disadvantage of taking money out. But I do think it's good to pay yourself, draw out that profit, and also prevents you really from going super, super aggressive on a stock that maybe you shouldn't be that aggressive on. Maybe I shouldn't take 20,000 shares of a $12 stock, right? Maybe that's not a good idea. So taking the money out makes it so I simply cannot do it. So anyways, here we are, $4,700. Green is good. The 6,000 earlier this morning would have been a little bit better, but 4,700 is good. And yesterday I made 3,700, so I'm making an extra $1,000 versus yesterday, which is great. Today is the 117th trading day of the year, and I am up right around $310,000 this year. So remember, last year, January 1st, 2017, I set out with a very small account, $583. And I wanted to prove that anyone can be a successful trader. Being a successful trader doesn't require a lot of money, doesn't require a master's degree in finance, doesn't require you to have worked at a hedge fund for 15 years. It just requires you to attack the market with a consistent strategy. So starting with $583, I attacked the market with a consistent strategy. Today, that account is breaking over $650,000. $650,000 in 18 months. Today's the day we break that level. So that's awesome. That's pretty exciting. And that means I've got $350,000 to go before I break the $1 million mark. So as I already mentioned earlier this morning in our midday or in our pre-market analysis, today, 1 p.m. Eastern, in less than 2 hours, we're hosting a totally free workshop for anyone that has the time and wants to show up, where I'm going to be teaching you the strategies that I used to take that $500 and turn it into $650,000. So I'm going to teach you how to find the strongest stocks to trade, how to minimize your risk every single day so you have small losers and big winners, and how to find the right entry points. By doing this, on the first day with that small account, I made $124.15. That was day 1. Day 2, I made $187. Day 3, I made $150. Day 4, I made $150. In 4 days, I doubled the account. I didn't do it by swinging for the fences. I didn't do it by hitting home runs. I did it by getting small winners, but by minimizing my risk on all of those trades. Stocks like PED that go from 30 cents to $5 or $4 in a day and a half. Obviously, these types of moves are great, but it's not realistic for you to try to swing and get a stock where you're in at 50 cents and you sell it at $4. It just doesn't happen. And any guru or anyone that says, follow me and buy this penny stock, you'll sell it tomorrow for double, that's just not going to happen consistently. You're going to end up buying it too high, and you're probably going to end up holding it, during drops like this, and that's no fun. So, the real secret to success is learning how to find stocks to trade totally on your own. So you don't need me, you don't need newsletters, you don't need any guru alerts or anything like that. You can find them yourself. So here are the 7 stocks I traded today that I found all by myself. I didn't need anyone's help. However, I will say, Ishmael, you did call out CHNR. So good job on that one. I'll give you the shout out. You called out CHNR at 250. It did come on my scanners, but it came on my scanners at, I think, 252. And I bought it at 260. So, you did call it out there just before I saw it on the scan. So really good job there. And maybe you're using a variation of the scanner with a slightly lower filter or something like that. But in any case, you can find these stocks on your own. Now, yeah, having a community to bounce ideas off of and all that stuff, that's great. But you don't want to be waiting for someone else to say buy to press the buy button. Because what happens? Just in the latency between me saying buy that I'm getting in and by the time you get it, with the way some of these stocks trade, by the time you're actually hearing it, I might have already sold my position before you're even hearing it, right? I've had trades where in a matter of 2 seconds, I'm in and I'm out because it's a breakout. So I'm basically taking that trade 100% by myself. And by the time you guys hear it, I've already sold my position. So if you're waiting to follow me, waiting for me to say buy, this just doesn't work. It's okay when you're learning and you're practicing in the simulator and getting a sense of, what stocks are moving and stuff like that. But when it's time to trade with real money and money's on the line, you want to be able to find these on your own. So how did we find these 7 stocks this morning? All right, well, we start every single day, same as always, by looking at our gap scanner. So this scanner right here, which we'll talk about in the workshop, this will help you find stocks that are going to gap up, open more than 5% versus yesterday's close. All right, so we're going to do historical date and time on this, 9/12, that's fine. So at 9/12 this morning, this is what I was looking at. These were the stocks that were on my watch list. These were the stocks in the entire stock market that were gapping up more than 5%. You can see there's a few on here, but what we've just done is we've filtered from potentially 15,000 stocks to trade down to about 30 or 40. All right, and we're going to focus on pretty much the top 10. Leading gapper is GBR. Notice I've got almost $2,000 of profit on GBR. I found it right here at 9:15 this morning. Okay, so I found it really early on. All right, so GBR, let's pull up that one. And a reminder, for those of you guys that want to register for this workshop, maybe you're watching this on YouTube later this afternoon, this evening, maybe you're watching on Facebook later this afternoon, later this evening, the live workshop has already happened. You can register for one of the next ones. All right, so we'll update the link here below. We will host an encore workshop for those of you that miss it. All right, just so heads up, don't feel bad if you did miss the one today. We'll host an encore. All right, so GBR, pre-market high of 368. The bell rings and it sells off a little bit, so I'm not really sure about it. I'm waiting, and then I decide to take a red to green move. So the high of the first candle was 340, and the low is down here at about 285. As it starts to curl up, I jumped in right here for the break over 330. It spikes up to a high of 360, and that's where I'm selling. I was anticipating the break of 340 by adding at 335, the high of this level here. As I saw volume coming in, that's what got me excited. So I'm adding at 335, adding at 340, adding at 350, selling at 355, and then stopping out of the rest as it comes back down. This was not a home run trade, but it was a winner with 10,000 shares. So actually, it might have been even more than that. I traded a good number of shares on all of these stocks today. GBR, 15,000 shares. So these are between buying and selling. They count it as shares traded, both when you buy and when you sell. So 15,000 shares total. So I remember yesterday and earlier in the week I was saying, guys, I'm going to be stepping up my share size this week because we're seeing hot momentum. I'm going to be more aggressive. Last week and the week before, I was pretty much topped out at 5,000 to 7,000 shares, but now I'm stepping it up, being a little more aggressive. So GBR, right off the watch list, and the entry on this was a red to green move. Okay, so getting in for the break of the pre-market highs. It ended up not holding that level, which is kind of disappointing. Second stock was PED. Now, PED we were watching for continuation because yesterday it made this big move. And so this morning, right out of the gates, I was a little bit iffy on it. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to trust it. But it pops up and it squeezes up towards 440. And so I jumped in it right here for the break. This is a 1 minute micro pullback, the break over 440. It hit 444 and then it just kind of chopped around. It dropped and came back up, and I sold it basically break even for a $35 profit with 7,500 shares. So 15,000 shares total traded. I bought 7,500 and then I sold 7,500. I'll just move this thing out of the way. All right, so got in that, got out of that. So really nothing there for me for profit on PED. All right, so also on the scanners this morning was CEI at 72 cents. You can see I actually lost $1,100 on it. This trade is kind of disappointing because where I got in it, I was waiting for it to start to open up. I wanted to see it starting to open up right here. And so as it started to break over this pre-market high, it squeezed up to a high of 43 right here, and it was halted on a 5-minute circuit breaker halt. So it hits 43, it's halted on a 5-minute circuit breaker halt, and my feeling on that was, okay, as soon as it comes out of the halt, I'm a buyer, and I'm gonna wanna jump in. It comes out of the halt, and I jump in at 145 and 150. I now have 10,000 shares with a cost basis of 152. It squeezes up to 159, and it gets halted again. All right, so I'm like, okay, this is awesome. It comes out of that halt, and I add 5,000 shares at 175, and now I have 15,000 shares at 159 average. So my new cost basis is 159 right here with 15,000 shares. So 159 to 180, that's $3,000 of profit. It tapped 180. I was looking for it to hit $2 and potentially get a third circuit breaker halt, and it didn't. It immediately reversed, caught me a little off guard. It dropped down here and was halted, going down at 151. So instantly I went from being up 20 cents to being down. Oh, sorry, I see the video is kind of covering that. Sorry about that, guys. So instantly I went from being up 50 cents to down, up 20 cents to down 10 cents as it dropped right here. It resumed from the halt and it curled back up, and I sold it for like I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 cent loss or something like that. So I lost $1,100 on that. I had unrealized profit of 3,000, and I gave it up looking for a little bit of a bigger win, and you know, it is what it is. So I was out of it, and then it ended up selling off and coming even lower. So on that one, I pushed it a little too hard. I thought it was going to really take off a little bit more, and unfortunately, I was wrong on that. So gave back a little bit of profit on that one, but by that time, of course, I was already well in the green on the day. So let's go back on the high day momentum scanner. 9:30, the bell rings. PED's on the scans. PED. BRN hits the scanners. BRN only twice. And then, let's see, PED. So I'm waiting for the next stock to hit the scanners. I'm just watching. PED's hitting the scans, but I felt like I didn't want to chase it. Then boom, USEG, look at this. It hits boom, 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 boom. I added with a cost basis of 156. USEG, it hits the scanners first at 135. And remember, guys, if you're using this same tool that I'm using, you can find these stocks the moment that I'm seeing them. You and I are seeing them at the same second. If you decide to buy it at the same time as me, that's fine. If you buy before me, that's fine. If you buy it after me for whatever reason, that's okay too. It's your choice, but you're seeing it at the same time. So USEG right there. So I jump in it as I see it starting to spike up. I get in at 156. That was my average. And it pops up to a high of 183 and is halted for 10 minutes on a circuit breaker. It resumes higher and hits 195. So with, I think I had 12,000 shares. I'm up, whatever, almost $5,000 or something like that. No, sorry. I only had 7,500 shares. Let me go back at this. USEG, yeah, I had 7,500 shares. I didn't have a big position on that one. So 7,500 shares, it starts to curl and roll over, and so I sell as it's coming back down. And this was kind of the first red flag of the day. A stock goes from $1.50 to $2, and then it comes all the way back down. And so it kind of felt like, that's a little concerning that we're not seeing continuation. Just this pop and then, this drop, this fade. So, when we see that type of thing happen, it always makes me a little nervous. This obviously shows opportunity, both long or short. There's volatility, but I want to see a little bit more strength than that. So that's not what I liked. To answer your question, a circuit breaker halt is a mechanism the market uses to reduce volatility. If a stock moves more than 10% during the market hours of 9:45 to 3:45, the stock will be halted for up to 10 minutes, while traders have time to circulate what's going on and kind of pause for a moment. This was put in place after the flash crash to prevent stocks from just dropping 50% in 5 minutes, right? So it stops all trading after a drop of more than 10%. Now, in the first 15 minutes, those circuit breaker thresholds are doubled to accommodate the high levels of volatility we see at the open and at the close. So in this case, the volatility bands are closer to 20%. All right, so it goes up 20% in basically less than 5 minutes, and it's halted on a 10-minute long circuit breaker. It ends up coming back down. So that was a little bit disappointing there. I was still able to make money on it, but I was very disappointed that it didn't continue over $2. My next trade was GBR. As you see, it's on the scanners here. And I did take a trade on ASNS, but not just there. I waited a little while. CEI is on the scanners. USEG resumes, hits 190. Archon, another one, hits the scanners. It pops up, doesn't hold its levels, and ends up coming back down. JAGX hits the scanners, pops up, and then comes all the way back down. So we're seeing a lot of these types of moves. And after the first one on USEG, I was a little hesitant. Couple other stocks on the scanners. This is how I'm finding stocks, and I choose them not just because they're on the scanner, but I choose them because I want to find the right pullback. I want to get pullback entries because that for me is the safest place to get in. So CHNR, all right, this one hits the scanners. And when I first saw it, I was like, okay, number one, it's China stock. China stocks have been really strong in the last week. We've got this pretty good daily chart. And as I saw it starting to pop up, I was like, okay, I'm going to jump in this. So I jumped in at $1.60, $1.75, $1.80, $2.60, $2.75, $2.80, and adding at $2.95 for the break of $3. So I'm adding as it's going up. I have 15,000 shares of this stock with a cost basis of 275. All right, it gets halted on a circuit breaker. It resumes higher. It resumes and it taps 315, and I actually added at 315 thinking it was going to continue higher, and then it immediately reversed and came down like this, and I had to stop out at 290. So I made on this one $2,000, a nice winner, but very disappointing that it came down, and as you can see, it came all the way back down, just like USEG. So now we're seeing a couple of stocks, 3 or 4, that are doing these, pop-ups and drops. I'm noticing that there's certainly opportunity to profit, but it's getting those windows are getting smaller and smaller and smaller as short sellers are thinking, I'm going to short this sooner and sooner and sooner because we keep seeing them drop back down. So the last one I traded was XPLR, and this is the one that ended up getting me. I mean, it popped up and it immediately came back down right here, and I lost $500 on it. All right, so I jumped in at 4, I think it was 4. Yeah, it was 4. And then I stopped out at like 360. So that was disappointing. That was the beginning of things turning around for me. And then I lost another $1,000 on CEI. That small trade on ASNS, this one I got into at, let's see, right here. That level as it was curling back up right here. I jumped in at 675. And I sold it at $7. Ended up hitting a high of $7.39, but a small winner because I only filled 209 shares. Wow. So very small order. ASNS on the scanners again, now dropping, going down, getting halted on a circuit breaker. So today I would say, yesterday I said the market was choppy because I lost $3,000 on my very first trade. Today I would say the market's also choppy. I'm green, but we're seeing a lot of this kind of pop and drop action. We're not seeing a lot of really good follow through, and that is making me pretty nervous. So I'm going to make a note to myself that tomorrow, Friday, I'm going to bring down the share size a little bit. Number one, it's Friday. Number two, it's the last day of the month. And number three, even though we've seen a lot of really great opportunities this week, and in the last 7 days, I'm at $40,000. Today and yesterday, things have started to get a little choppy, and those false breakouts and those pop and drop type of moves are making me a little uncomfortable. I'm worried that I'm going to get into one of them with 15,000 shares, and then it's going to drop 30 cents, and I'm going to lose $4,500 just like that. So I got to start reducing my share size. So if I do get caught in one of those, the losses are going to be a little smaller. XPLR, I actually only took 5,000 shares of, thank goodness, because that was a really bad drop. So at this point in the day, I was already up 6,000 on these 5 trades. So I was like, okay, I'm going to ease up share size. And then, that was good because I ended up losing on that one and then losing on that one. So my last 2 trades of the day were losers. And that's kind of how the market keeps you humble, because even though, I'm up $4,000 today, almost $5,000, I'm ending by getting like a little bit of a kick from the market. I gave back $1,500. So it's like, I'm not ending feeling like I'm on top of the world, an amazing day. I'm ending like, it's a good day. I was up 6,000. Now I'm up 4,700. I pushed my luck, gave back a little profit. Tomorrow I got to be a little more disciplined. So, that's not a bad thing. It keeps you sharp. Now, one of the hardest things for me is that right now I'm up $4,700, and I keep thinking, I can't help but think, geez, it would be really nice to be back up 6,000. It's always nice to walk away when you're on top of the world, walk away when you are at your highs. And so that's a problem because it can convince you to keep trading. Because I'll think, you know what, I'll just jump in CEI here, whatever, and 10,000 shares, I'll make back $1,500 before you know it, right? And then next thing you know, you're selling it for a $1,500 loss. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and next thing you know, you went from being up 6,000 to being up $500. You can literally give it all back. And that's what you don't want to do. You have to just have that sense of discipline where at a certain point you say, all right, you know what? If I'm not seeing the follow through, I'm just going to walk away. And so today, walking away with $4,700, I'm not going to try to fight it. I'm just gonna take my profit and be happy with that. You know, and I think that's the right move. I did trade quite a bit today. You can see 71 executions, 160,000 shares traded, just about. So it's pretty aggressive. Commissions are going to be higher as a result, but you know, it's just it seems like the last week has definitely been a good time to be more aggressive, just because we've been seeing so much follow through, right? So for right now, I'll be happy with the $4,700, and I'm really turning around the month of June, and we'll see what we can do tomorrow to finish up this month. All right, so remember, 1 p.m. Eastern, today we're going to be hosting this workshop. I'm looking forward to it. So those of you who are in the chat room, you can see the link to register in the description or in the announcements. Those of you watching Facebook Live right now, you still have time to register for the webinar at 1. Those of you watching this on YouTube later this afternoon or this evening, you will have, you know, if it's after 1 p.m., the workshop will have already started, so you'll probably miss it. But we will host an encore. So you can certainly register. Click the link below to either download a copy of our free ebook, which I'll be giving everyone at the end of the workshop today. All right, so that's about it for me. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and we'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, 9:15, 9:30 for pre-market analysis. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.